One love, God bless. Fire Nelson here, and today I'm here to talk to you about how life isn't so black and white. So first of all, what I mean by black and white, and no, I don't mean racist, but even that, life isn't really black and white, but life isn't so black and white, like life isn't so cut and dry. Life isn't so one way or the other way. Life isn't this way or the highway, or this highway or this highway even. Sometimes you can take the sidewalk. We have to realize life is more expansive than what we've been told growing up, what we've been told by, society, and what we've been shown lots of times. Life is full of different choices, full of different people, and full of different aspects that help not only lead you to your best self, but lead the whole universe to the best self that it can be. Like if Jesus never walked the path that he walked, if Muhammad never walked the path that he walked, if Siddhartha never walked the path that he walked, if Mother Teresa never walked the path that she walked, we have to realize that the world would be missing a very important aspect to it. Our universe, our consciousness will be missing a very important aspect to it. And it's because of these people who thought selflessly and thought in a different way than maybe the mass society was thinking, and didn't look at life as such black and white, such if you're rich, you're happy, if you're poor, you're sad, if you're sick, you can't be touched, if if it's the Sabbath, you can't be healed on this day, if this and that. They realize that life isn't so black and white, and you can still be righteous in your actions. You don't have to follow the path of this person or the path of that person. And it doesn't have to be a righteous path or an evil path that's clearly stated out to you. You should be clearly making righteous decisions, but sometimes we follow people and then we find out, or we, not even find out. Sometimes you can learn wisdom from people that did bad things. Because everything is a lesson for us in some way or another. We can learn a lesson from wars. We can learn a lesson from, from people in prison. We can learn lessons from people who, have created cults and all these different things. There's wisdom to be learned in all situations. It's not so black and white. It's using the information righteously. It's using the information to your divine path. It's using the information that you have. It's using the paths that you see opened up to you in your own special righteous way. You could make it special and be evil, like some of these evil people that, I just listed that you can learn from. Well, people in prison aren't evil. They're just people who are confused. But, people like the people committing these wars, starting these wars, and, these people creating mass genocide. We can use the information that we have for evil, of course, but your karma will come to you. And it's not a path that's going to lead you to any type of happiness, truly. So we have to realize that when we are following a righteous path, sometimes people may make it seem like we're being crazy, or we're being extra about our spirituality, or we're, taking too much time into our spirituality, into our spiritual practices. We're taking too much time meditating, taking too much time praying, taking too much time whatever, reading. But we have to realize doing stuff out of the norm, doing stuff out of the way of society is always gonna seem like, oh wait, no, you gotta be like this, or you gotta be like this. Oh, you're spiritual? Oh, what religion do you belong to? I don't belong to any religion. And then people get confused. They're like, oh, but you did it. Stuff isn't so black and white. If a saint came down today, if the Most High themselves came down today, or even a saint came down today, it doesn't even have to be the Most High. If a saint came down today, was the first thing you're going to ask the saint was, oh, what's your religion? Or, oh, what's your Instagram? Oh, how many followers do you have? Oh, how many, people watch your videos? How many people subscribe to you? How many people like your videos and stuff like this? How do we know if you're credible? It's a saint coming down to you with wings. There's a halo above them and everything. And you're still sitting here asking questions. That is how the Most High feels. That is how the Most High feels when you are still living in these toxic ways, in these ways of society, when you know that there's a righteous path calling to you. And even though it's different, even though you may feel you'll be weird, even though it's not the black and white path that people are trying to tell you that life is supposed to be like, you need to go to that path, that middle path. It doesn't have to be you got to be in a career, get a job, and do all these things. And it doesn't have to be like, oh, you're a complete bum if you're not doing these things. There is a middle path for all situations. There's a middle path between you being completely distant, mentally, physically, and spiritually, and you're off in a mountain, and you being completely unconscious and just completely with society. There's a middle path. You don't have to be the extreme. You don't have to be the lowest of the lowest. There's always something for you. You have a divine purpose. You have a divine path. And everybody's path is different. But you can't let society dictate how you're going to think about society. If that makes sense, You can't let society dictate how you're going to think about society, because we create how our outer environment becomes. Sometimes it's a slow process. Once we realize this, we're like, how? We created, okay, I've been thinking this way for a month, 2 months, maybe even a year, and my outer environment isn't changing that much. But with patience, with effort, and with true awareness, you will see the difference. We create the environment. We create how people influence us. We choose what we indulge in and what we put our energy in and what we let download into our system. Other people don't do that. Other people don't choose that. Other people don't, make that decision for us. Nobody's forcing us to watch these videos. Nobody's forcing us to scroll on TikTok for 10 hours. Nobody's forcing us to eat unhealing foods and things like this. Nobody's forcing us to go to the club every single night. We have to take accountability for how our life is and realize that there is a path that's calling to you. Especially if you're watching this video, then I know you're being called to a blessing. Don't resist it. Don't resist that pull that the Most High is trying to pull you toward. Because once you see the light, once you are truly following your spiritual path and you see that light, you hear that sound, that sweet sound of the Most High telling you, guiding you, showing you themselves, the light of them, you will never turn back to your old ways. That was the lowest. That was the black or the white. You and your old ways, you following the ways of everybody else, thinking that you having it figured out. But once we truly come into our true self and we come into this awakening, we realize that, oh, my path is different than this person or this person. My path is different than the poor or the rich. At some point you might be both in your life, but your path is different. Your path is divinely carved just for you. You don't have to follow everything that everybody else says that you're following. And you don't have to stress that you're falling into the ways that everybody that may be not caring about the same things you're not caring about has fallen into. As long as you're doing what's righteous, as long as you're not just consuming toxicity most of your time, as long as you're not just sitting around drinking, sitting around doing drugs, sitting around judging others, sitting around cursing and cussing and partying and falling into lust and greed. As long as you're not doing these things, don't worry about if you're following the path of this person or that person. Life isn't black and white. It isn't if you're not following the path of this person, then you won't be successful. And if you are seeming to follow the path of this person, then you're going to be poor. It's not that black and white. Once we truly come into our awareness, once we start doing these spiritual practices, once we continue with our affirmations, our journaling, our meditating, our praying, you will see how your path lights up. You will see how your environment starts to lighten up, brighten up. You will see how bright the flowers look, how bright the sky looks. You'll notice that one bird that happens to fly in the sky. And you'll see that that is inspiration guiding you always. You'll be called to certain things, certain events, certain books, and they will relate to something else that you just read, something else that you just saw, something else that you just heard or was talking about. And these synchronicities will happen when you're following your path, not worrying about the black or the white, not color-wise, like I said, but not worrying about if you're following this path or this path, not worrying about if you're following the path to the rich or you're following the path to the poor. We need to just worry about our path. It's not one way or the other. We can like spirituality. We can know that there's divine source, and we don't have to put a name to it. There is no true name to the source other than I am. And honestly, that is debatable. There truly is no name. The I am, the I is really just us as the Most High. And am is the creation of it. I am, when you speak to someone, you say, I am hungry, or I'm sleepy, or this is the creation. This is the speech of creation. This is the speech of consciousness. I am. So we have to realize that we are created from that I am consciousness. Whatever we think that we are, whatever we speak that we are, comes to reality. Whether it's I am sleepy, or I am so depressed, or I am so upset that this is happening, or I am so stressed out, or whatever. We want to switch those to positive affirmations so that our life starts changing in a positive way. We have to realize that life isn't black and white. We don't have to live a life super go happy and laughing all the time, or a life super depressed and upset about things all the time. There's a perfect middle. You don't have to laugh every single day to have a joyful day, to have a good day, to have a blessed day. It's not about laughter. It's about contentment. It's about being happy with what you have and realizing that you don't need anything else. It's about realizing you're blessed and you don't need to be asking the Most High for more blessings right now. It's about realizing that you're just okay where you're at, and you know that tomorrow you're going to have a chance to be even better than today. You're going to be able to read even more about this interesting things that you want to read. You're going to be able to listen to some more podcasts and videos like this to help grow you mentally and physically. You might be able to meditate even longer tomorrow, do a longer yoga session. You're going to make sure you journal all the way through the whole page tomorrow. Every single day we have a blessing to be better than we were the last day. And that is all you need to focus on, is how can you be better than the day before? How can you keep pushing yourself to become that best version of yourself? Don't worry about what they're doing and how those people are doing those things and they ended up in that bad place and you're kind of feeling like you are maybe on that same path. Don't worry about that. They were probably dealing with their own demons. They were probably portraying they were, living right, but they weren't really living as righteous as you. They weren't really doing the spiritual work that you're doing. They're not really doing the meditating, the prayer, the journaling, the reading that you're doing. Sometimes our path looks similar to some paths that led to destruction. Sometimes our past looks similar to other paths that led to destruction, but we have to realize that the Most High has a divine plan for us. The Most High is going to test us many times. This life is going to be full of tests. And if you buckle and fold under each and every test, even a few of the tests, if you buckle and fold, you think the Most High is going to bless you that week? You think the Most High is going to bless you that day? You think the Most High is going to bless you that month? Because the Most High is going to bless you that year. I ain't going to say that. But the Most High is not going to bless you when you keep on rejecting these lessons, these teachings, these lessons, these teachings, and acting out in ways that aren't appropriate to the righteousness that you're trying to follow, to the divine path that you're trying to walk in and be an example of. We have to realize that sometimes our path is different because it's supposed to be. Our path doesn't look like their path or their path because it's not supposed to be. Our path is supposed to be a mix of everything because we're supposed to be able to touch everybody with our speech. We're supposed to be able to affect everybody with our story. We're supposed to be able to uplift everybody with our words. So we need a taste of everything. We don't need to be living in such this way or that way type of society. Everything in our life isn't black and white. It's not one way or the other. We accept everything how it comes, whether it's good or bad. We're living in that flow, in that synchronicity, knowing that even if it looks bad, there's a good coming from it. This is the synchronicity. This is the mindset. This is the consciousness that we need to all be living from, and realize that with this consciousness, it's only going to take you higher. It's only going to bring you into more bliss, more peace. It's only going to help you with your discipline, with your patience. You won't need most of the things that you used to think you need. You won't need some of the things you used to think that you lacked. We have to realize that our path isn't so black and white. Our path isn't always so cut and dry. Our path isn't always so laid out and easily able to be like, okay, now I need to do this, now I need to do that. This is why we take time to meditate. This is why we take time to pray, so we can figure out the next steps. And even if we don't figure it out in the meditation, we want to attune our ears, attune our sight, so that we know when that next step is laid in front of us. When we meditate, we increase our power of awareness. We increase our connection with the Most High and the divine source. That when we are in a situation where we need to figure out what path we need to take, it comes much easier. It comes more fluent. There's more blessings that come with the path instead of struggles. And it's a beautiful thing to witness and be a part of. I have had it happen many times. So we have to realize that when we start trusting our gut, trusting that divine instinct, and making sure that we build that strength, because it's going to take you building it. It's going to take you working out your spiritual self. It's going to take you actually exercising those spiritual abilities of sitting, staying patient, quieting the mind, and letting yourself truly hear and see the wisdom that is supposed to be coming to each and every one of us in our own special ways. Don't worry about if you're not as awoken as this person, or you're not spiritually advanced as this person, or you're not meditating as long as this person, or you're not praying as much as this person, or you're not journaling yet. Just keep building. You will get there. 30 days is all it takes to build a habit. 60 days if you really want to nail it. But we're going to be doing these things forever, not 30 days, not 60 days. We're going to be doing these things forever and make it a lifestyle. Meditation is a lifestyle. Prayer is a lifestyle. Living righteous and holy is a choice. I don't even want to say a lifestyle anymore. It's just a way of life. Meditation, prayer, building knowledge, building discipline, building patience, building that inner serenity is a way of life. Once you start doing these things, it's better than any drug. It's better than any high. It's better than any, candy. It's better than any cake. It's better than anything else, because we realize that we don't need anything. We just need a nice, quiet place to sit. It doesn't even have to be that quiet, and we will be okay. We will be content. We will be perfectly in a blissful state. Not wanting anything, not needing anything, not thinking or caring about anything other than what we need to think and care about at the time. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing once you figure out that you don't need to compare yourself to this path or this person or that person. It's a beautiful thing once you're able to trust your inner self, Trust the divine source and realize that you're walking a path that's going to lead you to all the riches, all the beauty, all the wealth, all the joy, all the bliss, all the unity that you could ever imagine, unconditionally and abundantly. But we have to stop looking at other people's lives and other people's situations and other ways of how we're influenced, and be influenced by the Most High, be influenced by gurus, be influenced by, true people that aren't worrying about the next person, because life isn't so black and white. Life isn't this or that. And if you're not doing this, you're not going to make it. And if you're doing this, or if you're not doing this, then you're going to be poor. Poor and wealth is a mind state. It is a way of thinking. People who are wealthy, 9 times out of 10, don't even realize they're wealthy. They know that they're rich, but do they really know that they're wealthy inside and out? No. They have so much problems. They have even more problems 9 times out of 10 than we do. Because I'm not wealthy. I'm wealthy mentally, physically, and spiritually, but I'm not financially wealthy yet. But these financially wealthy people, when they just are birthed into financial wealth, it's not the same thing as gaining wealth mentally, physically, and spiritually. Once you truly gain wealth mentally, physically, and spiritually, and then you get wealth financially, then that is true generational wealth. That is when you're able to pass knowledge and you're not just passing money. We have to realize that we need to be a beacon, not only for ourselves and for the people in our environment, but for our generations to come. We have to be an example, someone that's going to be talked about for generations, someone that has written down their thoughts, written down their teachings, written down their wisdom, because you should be journaling every day. You should be journaling about your meditation. You should be journaling about your dreams. You should just be journaling about your day, no matter how boring or exciting it was. Because regardless of what you think, you can be that change in your family, in your generation, that truly shows self-worth, self-love, and what that looks like, and how to truly follow a blueprint that your family has made. You don't have to look outside of your family anymore. Now your family can look to you and be like, oh, what did great grandpa used to do? What did great grandpa used to think? What is great grandpa's, teachings and knowledge? And then they can learn from you, and then keep going and keep going. And that's how you change not only the world today, not only the world tomorrow, but you can help change the world for generations and generations to come, because you don't know the power of your grandkids and your great grandkids and your own kids and things like this, and the power of yourself. 9 times out of 10, we don't know the power of ourselves, because we're looking to the black and the white. We're looking to either we're doing this or we're doing that, and if we're not doing this, we're not going to be successful. And if we're doing this, we're probably going to be successful. If we're hanging around these people, we're probably going to be successful. If we're not hanging around these people, we're probably not going to be successful. Or if we're hanging around these people, we're definitely not going to be successful. There's a lot of that in growing up in our life. Oh, you watch who you hang around, or your first impression matters the most. And back then they weren't talking about our personality. They're talking about how we look. They're talking about how we act. I wasn't even allowed to grow dreads until I left the house. That's how much my own, mother was scared of other people's first impression and my struggle throughout the world. So it was a real thing up until now, where you couldn't even be your true self, how you wanted to look, how you wanted to be, without worrying about if you're going to be able to make it in this world. What a prison is that, And that's really how a lot of people think. They don't even want to express their true self, physically, because they're scared of how they're going to be perceived. They're going to be scared they're going to get fired or can't get a job. They're going to be scared that no one's going to think they're attractive. They're going to be scared that they'll never find a husband or a wife. They're going to be scared that their, parents are going to be highly upset and not want them over for Christmas or kick them out the house. So we have to realize that we have to get out of this mindset of everything has to be black and white or this or that. or so cut and dry. There's many options, many paths for everybody. You don't have to be a Muslim. You don't have to be a Buddhist. You don't have to be a Christian. You don't have to be any of these things to be spiritually enlightened, to go on a spiritual path. It's all going to take you back to the same source, which is the source, the Most High. All these are called by different names, but they're all about the same source. They all are the same source. And once we realize this, once we come to, acceptance of this truly, then our life starts to becoming a magical, fantasy, really, in real life, because it's not a fantasy. Once we stop comparing ourselves to this person or that path and start living our path and focusing on what we need to do to be better than we were yesterday, everything else, just starts falling away. All the worries start falling away. You still have some problems that come up, but they don't affect you as much as you knowing that you have hours left in this day, hopefully, that you have another day, hopefully. And when you wake up, you're thanking the Most High and you're saying, wow, I can't wait to do this today. I can't wait to read today. I can't wait to meditate today. I can't wait to solve this issue I had today. I know it's going to get solved today. You need to be firm on your affirmations, firm on your self-positivity talk. Don't let negativity creep into you. Know that you're on your divine path if you're living righteous, if you're doing the work. If you're not living righteous, if you're not doing the work, you're at the mercy of the universe. Good luck to you. But if you're doing the work and you're living righteous, most importantly, many blessings are going to come to you. It's that easy. Increase your knowledge. Read books. Read holy books. You'd be surprised how much wisdom you'll get from the Bible or the Quran or the Bhagavad Gita or any of the books. Read the Torah. Shoot. But we have to realize doing these things is going to make us truly know ourselves. Doing these spiritual practices, which includes reading books, is going to increase our inner self, our inner wisdom, our inner divine choice that we have. That inner divine, what is it called? Compass that we have within us. That leads us to our best self, that leads us to miracles and blessings, that leads us to our best life, regardless of how everybody else says that we're headed, regardless of what the outside circumstances might be, regardless of the outside suffering that might be happening even. We have to know and keep this faith and wisdom and that patience that our best life is coming, as long as we're living righteous and doing the spiritual work that we need to do. It will be clear to you as day. So increase that knowledge. Read every single day. It's great watching these videos as well, but make sure you're reading every single day. Spiritual books, not just, some Stephen King books. You want to read spiritual books every single day. Do your meditation every single day. You want to try to get up to 2.5 hours, but, spread out. But even if you can do 30 minutes a day, that's awesome. Take it slow, and you will see results. Read, meditate, pray, journal. Leave a legacy for your children and your children's children and your children's children and the rest of the world. You never know who or how big you can impact the entire world. You want to journal. Our spiritual journey matters. Our spiritual journey is unique. Our spiritual path is different than the regular black and white of society. So good luck on your journey. If you haven't, please subscribe, like, comment, share. And I appreciate everybody that's been doing that. And I appreciate everybody that's been taking the effort and the time to grow themselves mentally, physically, and spiritually, to realize that life isn't so black and white, that to realize that you don't have to live like the rest of the sheep, to realize that you can be a leader and you're just trying to figure it out. How can I be a leader? Don't give up. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep growing yourself mentally, physically, and spiritually, and keep on making sure that you stay patient and you're following that divine path. You're following that divine voice, the divine guidance within us. And everything is going to manifest for you in the best way possible. Every dream that you had is going to come true in the best way possible. And you will see change in your life when you stop worrying about everybody else and making sure you're walking on this path or that path, and you're just making sure you're walking the righteous path. Don't worry about how this person did it or how this person did this stuff and they ended up bad. We are going to be perfectly fine. We aren't that person, and we aren't that person. We are our own individual spirit on our own individual journey that is filled with growth and filled with blessings. One love.